Hey, welcome back to the shop. I got a new one for you today. This time we're going to get into some plumbing. I run off of a well system out here, and I had to replace the pressure switch. It's fairly straightforward, not too complicated, so let's jump into it, and I'll see you back here at the end.
Okay, so today we're going to be changing the well pressure switch, and it is located right there. It does not have the cap. It needs the cap on it. But we had to recently change the well pump that is down the hole, about 100 feet in this case. We had put a 30-50 pressure switch. We're going to change it out today for a 40-60 pressure switch. Now everybody's well setup may be a little different. This is ours here. This is a manifold I put in. Filter there, cut off for the supply to the manifold. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and shut off. Put this cap down. First thing we're going to do is shut off the main water supply to the house. And then we're going to get a water hose and hook it up here because we're going to need to drain this tank before you can change out this pressure switch. So let's get that water hose. Okay, we've got our water hose hooked up. When I installed mine, what I did was on the T, I installed a spigot so that we could drain this. This is a pressure relief valve in case it ever got too high, a gauge, and then my pressure switch supply line out. So what we're going to do is go ahead and turn on. We're going to go ahead and open up the valve. Oh, first of all, let's turn off the power to the well. That way it doesn't kick back on while we're doing this, because we need this tank to be drained. Gonna go ahead and open it up. Oh, already got a leak. Let me grab my bucket. Okay, well, I've got a bit of a mishap on my hose leaking a little bit. And you're gonna get a little water on the floor, it's okay. We're gonna wait for that pressure to go down. See, I'm keeping the water going into my bucket. It's gonna get a little messy, guys. Unfortunately, you're gonna make some mess here, but it's a well house, so, you know, shouldn't be such a big deal. Give that a few more seconds to run down and you should be out of pressure. And there it went, it just dropped all the way down. The reason we're wanting to drain this tank, there's two reasons. For one, we have to actually take the pressure switch off, which is under pressure. The second is we need to reset the air pressure in the tank itself. You basically put the air pressure in via that cap up there. Anyway, let's get this hose disconnected, make sure all the water's drained out, and then we'll get that switch off of there. Now when it comes to electricity, it's kind of one of those things that we trust but verify. We did turn it off at the breaker, but we're still going to test it. And you test that by touching your black to your ground and touching your lead. Got nothing on that side, nothing on that side. So we should be good. Now that we've verified there's no electricity, we're gonna go ahead and get this disconnected. And I did a rush job on this last time. When we put this back together, we're gonna go ahead and put our lugs on so that we've got an actual, proper fitting. Putting it in like wires like this, honestly, it doesn't look that good and doesn't seem very professional, so we're going to remedy that. And I shouldn't have done like that, but hey, I was in a hurry. This is an example of, I did put one on the ground. I should have done it to all of them, but we're going to correct that now. Once you've got all the wires disconnected, you should be able to take it loose by putting a wrench here and a pair of channel locks here. Should spin off counterclockwise. Once you get it loose, you should be able to spin it by hand. It should come right off. The other reason for the bucket, you're going to get some more spillage out of the tank. What we're going to want to do is make sure we get off all the old Teflon tape. Now I've yet to find an easy way to get this off. So if you guys know any tricks on getting Teflon tape off easier than this, by all means, let me know in the comments. because I've always found this to be a pain in the butt part of plumbing work. It's getting off old Teflon tape or old putty. First of all, let's go ahead and address these connections. Now the heat shrink and lugs may not be 100% required because a lot of well houses you're just going to see the bare wire, but I wanted to clean this up and make it look a little better. Let's go ahead and get that pressure switch on here. Or before we put the new pressure switch on, we need to go ahead and put the Teflon tape on. Now since you'll be rotating it clockwise, I like to put the wrap clockwise. That way you're not fighting the threads. Let's go ahead and get that twisted on there now. Get it on there hand tight as best you can, and then we'll give it a good snugging with the wrench and pliers. That should do it. Didn't need the pliers. Now let's go ahead and get our wires installed. Okay, I'll admit, I could have done better on the ground, but I think we're all right. As long as we get the cover on there, that's the important part. So I didn't explain this in the beginning of the video, but your leads are going to match side for side. In other words, your red is going to come in on the same contact, your black is going to come in on the same contact, and your ground on the ground. That way when it trips, it'll make the connection between the two. 120, 120. This is a 240 volt well. Lastly, we'll get a few tie wraps on here to complete our wiring. Now on the top of the tank, there should be a check valve right there. Let me go ahead and get the air pump. Now, usually you should check it with an air gauge. I can't find my air gauge, so we're gonna go with the actual air pump itself's gauge and see how that works. Okay, so I got it hooked up. It looks like we were below 30 on our pressure, so our tank actually had less pressure than it should have had. Since we put a 40-60, now we've got to go up to 40. Okay, so we've got our pressure switch installed. We checked the air pressure on the tank itself. We set it to 40 since 40 is our low end on this pressure switch. Next, we're going to go ahead, make sure that we closed our valve. Make sure this is still closed. Now let's go ahead and kick on our pump. What we're going to want to do is watch that pressure. If it gets too high, you want to turn it off, but we should see it reach 60 psi. Turned off at 56 psi. So we'll probably want to check our pressure in the tank again. Now you're going to want to cycle through this a couple of times I double checked the air pressure. Air pressure is good at 40 psi. So I'm letting it drain, get the pump to kick back on, because we want it to raise to 60 before it turns off. There is an adjustment on these. If you look at the cap, it should tell you nut number 2, turn clockwise to raise off pressure, which is this one. So I put a couple of turns on it, see if we can't get it to raise that a little bit. So let's watch and see when it kicks on. Just kicked on at 35 psi. So let's see where it goes. Let's go ahead and turn off that valve outside. Let's see where our cutoff is. Okay, so we need to adjust a little bit more, it looks like, on that second nut. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn that nut clockwise a little bit more. Before we do that though, you always want to turn off the power before you do that. You don't want to risk getting shocked. We're going to do it about a half a turn at a time. That was a half a turn. We'll do another half turn. Okay, so we're going to go run through that cycle one more time. Okay, it just kicked on at 35 again. Okay, and it just cut off at 60. We're going to cycle one more time. Well, and that's it, guys. That's pretty much all there is to it, to putting a new pressure switch in. Just make sure that when you're done, go around, follow up, and make sure that you've checked for any leaks. Mainly underneath there, right here. And make sure you've got no water, nice and dry. Make sure that you don't have any more leaks, any other leaks around anything else, because you did increase the water pressure. So you just want to make sure that you didn't create a leak somewhere else, including in the house. And that's it, guys.
Hey, it's great to see you back here at the shop, and thanks for watching. I hope the video was informative and gave you great insight as to what's involved with changing out a pressure switch. I'll leave a list of tools used in the description below. If there's any other repairs or general shop maintenance you'd like to cover, put in the comments and we'll get it covered. Until next time, stay safe out there, and I'll see you back here at the shop.